Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be filming a story time video basically all about my hair nightmare, which if you guys have been watching my last couple of vlogs you would know that I've had the worst time ever. Let's take it back. Basically. As you guys can see, I'm now back to brunette. Okay, so if I haven't ranted enough about my poor hair and hair issues in my vlogs, I wanted to come on and do a whole video dedicated to the fuckery that is my hair and also the hair salons that I've been to over the last month. Okay, so basically about a month ago or so, I pretty much was like, I'm really over my hair. I'm over it being just plain brown. I want to go like a different color, and I basically was like, I really want to go blonde and I really want to go balayage because I feel like balayage looks a lot more natural than just full over blonde hair. So I wanted to have darker roots, not this dark, but darker roots and then blonde ends basically. And I looked up a ton of photos and I found a ton of inspiration and I was like, yes, this is what I want my hair to look like. I knew that my hair wouldn't be blonde very quickly because my hair has so much brown color buildup. I wasn't looking for anything like majorly light blonde. I was just basically looking for like a dark blonde sort of thing. So I didn't think it would take too long to get there, and I did want to go to a place that used Olaplex because I knew that that was a really good way to go blonde a lot quicker. My first initial thought was I need to go on and find a good hair salon, but I was like, you know what, I'm going to just go to somewhere where I live because they're hairstylists and hairstylists go to school to learn how to do hair. I should just put faith into them. Bad fucking decision, Jess. Slap on the wrist for you. So anyways, I look up online hair salons and I find this one back about 40 or so minutes from where I live. And I'm like, okay, I don't mind traveling to go get my hair done. A lot of people that I'd been to school with had been to this hair salon before and they had pretty good reviews, and they had a Facebook page and they had before and afters and all that sort of stuff, but they also had balayage specialists. So I was like, well, I want to go balayage, so I want to go to someone that is a balayage specialist. I book into this hair salon and I take my little ass there. And I walk in, and as soon as I sit down at the chair, I tell the lady that I want to go blonde and I want to go balayage. And I know it's not going to happen overnight, but that's what I want to do. And she doesn't ask me for a picture. She doesn't ask me what shade of blonde I'm wanting, whether I want it to be more cool toned or more sort of warm toned or anything like that. She just says, okay, cool. That's it. That's basically it. I asked her, like, you know, how many times she think that I would get to a blonde shade, and she said about 3 to 4 times. She starts off doing my hair and she's looking out the window, and I'm like, this is one of my biggest pet peeves because if I can't stand when people do that. Like, what are you looking out the window for? Looking for the postman? Like, you're meant to be watching me. You're meant to be paying attention to my hair. Like, I'm sitting here and paying you money. Stop looking at the bloody window. Like, I hate when people do that. She puts like half a head of highlights in my hair and that is it. And then she takes me over to the basin and she's washing it out and whatever. I'm literally at the basin for like 5 or so minutes. She's like rummaging her hands through my hair like really sloppily. She's basically like putting her damn hands in my mouth. She's too busy looking at it like what Betty Boop's doing out like side, and I'm just sitting here like, can you just pay attention for fucking 5 minutes? I go back and I sit down at the chair in front of the mirror and she starts blow drying my hair, and immediately I'm like, I want to kill myself because my hair is orange, like it is full on orange. Now do not get me wrong, I understand my hair is going to be orange. I don't want people being like, your hair is going to turn orange, like what did you expect? But this shit was so sick. Okay, as I said in my vlog, I looked like a fucking terry's chocolate orange. Like, it was so horrible, and it was just blotchy everywhere. Like, I had a massive bit of orange in my fringe. I had orange pieces all throughout my hair. Still so much brown. I had like brown hair with orange highlights. I felt like a fucking thought. So I come out and she's blow drying my hair and whatever, and I'm sitting there and I'm looking at her like, she told me originally to come back in a month and get it redone again. And I was like, and then she was like, oh, you can always come back in 2 weeks. And I was like, and then she's like, actually, you know what? Your hair's pretty healthy. Come back in a week. I'm like, that's right, bitch. I am coming back in a week because I am not doing anything. Like, I can't leave my house for a week because my hair looks absolute shit. I go back in a week, which probably wasn't a good idea because I wasn't happy the first time, but I was like, you know what did I expect? My hair was really dyed before, so of course it's going to turn orange. So I go back there in a week's time. And I kind of had thought, like, did she even tone my hair? Like, why was it so orange? Like, wouldn't it be, like, at least a caramel or, like, light brown shade? She didn't tone it though. And so I went back there the next time and she told me she was going to tone it. And she once again puts about half a head of highlights in my hair. Why she couldn't just do highlights all over my head, I don't know. Like I know I said I wanted balayage, but why she couldn't just highlight like pretty much every like part of hair, pretty much, I don't understand why. Leaving out massive chunks of brown. I was like, if you think this looks good, then you are colorblind, because you need help. You need Jesus. I go and sit down, get my hair done again, go to the basin. Once again, I'm only there for friggin' like 2 minutes. Like, you're meant to put toner on and leave it on for ages, I think. So I was only there for 2 minutes, and then I come back and I sit down, and my hair looks exactly the same. Like, the bits that had turned up blonde, because some of my hair had turned up blonde at first, the bits that had turned up blonde on my hair were even more blonde, and they were a decent shade of blonde, and then the rest of my hair was orange. It now went from being like bright orange to like a light orange. Still looked sick. I was like, okay, you know what, I'm not going to this place anymore. And I will insert a picture here of basically what my hair looked like, so you can see this is what I had to leave the damn hair salon with. I looked like a rang My Little Pony. Like, I felt so shit and I felt so disgusting with that hair. I could wear my hair up in a ponytail and it really wasn't that bad, because you couldn't really see all of the yucky bits underneath and like my fringe and everything like that. So anyways, I was like, you know what, I really don't want to go back to this place anymore. I'm really not happy. I feel like she's just taking way too long. But I asked you guys whether I should go to another hair salon, and a lot of you guys were like, yes, she clearly doesn't know what she's doing. She's not blending it in properly. That is not balayage. Your hair should not be orange like that. You need to go somewhere else. So I really didn't want to have to travel like really far to go to a good hair salon. So I tried to look up a place online that sold Olaplex, because she used a product called Curaplex. I don't know if it's the same thing or similar, but she didn't even use it in my hair, I don't think. I went and looked online to try and find a new place in my area that sold Olaplex, which is really hard because a lot of paid places don't even have like websites around my area. It's just like Facebook and stuff. So I went on and I happened to come across this one place that was only like 10 minutes away that had Olaplex, and I'm like, oh, perfect. Oh, and by the way, like, balayage specialist, bitch, where? Like, she was not a balayage specialist. I think the lady that owned the salon before her was a balayage specialist, but she had claimed she was a balayage specialist, and I was like, with what, fucking Labradors? Because this is not a specialist, okay? This is like something that my mum would do to my hair. Like, my mum is not a hairstylist. If I was to ask her to give me balayage, this is how it would turn out. Like, you are not a balayage specialist. Find this new place that sells Olaplex. I send them an email and I'm like, can I come in for a consultation? Because I'm like, I don't want to go in just straight off the bat and sit down in the chair. I want them to know what I want, where I'm aiming for, and then they can go from there. So I go to this place, I sit down at this chair, and this lady comes over and I talk to her about what I want and the fact I want to go balayage, and I've been to the hair salon twice already and this is how it looks. And she was like, you know, yeah, I think she's doing it a bit slow-paced. It's definitely, you know, not going to be blonde straight away, but it's going a bit slow. It's definitely not blended in certain areas and whatever. So I was like, okay, well, can I book in with you next week? And so I booked in with her. And I had so much faith in this person because they were using Olaplex. I felt like my hair was on the way to being blonde, and she had told me that it was probably going to be like exactly how I wanted it in another 2 sessions. I was like, 4 sessions of going to get to the hair salon, like that seems pretty legit to me. I go to this hair salon and I walk in, and then this lady that was talking to me and doing the consultation with me, she couldn't make it that day. She wasn't in on that day apparently, so I had another girl, which I didn't really care about because I was like, well, she suggested this girl to me, so she obviously is good at what she does. So this little girl comes over, literally 2, and she takes me over to the chair, and she's talking to me about my hair and stuff, and she's like, oh, so-and-so told me what you're wanting after you had the consultation with her and stuff like that. It just seemed very vague and a little bit like she wasn't really sure like what she was doing. I don't know how long she'd been there for, but I presume that she'd been there for quite a while, because this lady had like suggested me to her and said like, oh yes, you know, it's either me or her that can do it. So anyway, so she's seeming a bit like vague and stuff like that, and I sort of mentioned to her that I know I'd said I wanted balayage, but I didn't want there to be too much root. Like, I didn't want there to be like all brown here and then blonde, because I thought that would look a bit weird. So I prefer the blonde to be taken up a little bit more. And she kind of was like, I'm going to go and just ask my boss. And I was like, what do you mean you're going to go and ask your boss? Like, why can't you do it? You know what I mean? Like, why don't you know what to do? What do you mean you're going to go and ask your boss? And I should have stepped up and ran out of there real quick, but I didn't, because I was like, oh, you know, maybe she's just getting advice for stuff. And you know, like, you're not going to like leave. You feel awkward anyway as it is. But if she comes back and she starts telling me like how she can't take the blonde further up because it's not going to blend with my roots, and I would have to get like a full head of highlights and then grow my roots out, and that's the only way I could do it. And I'm just sitting there like, no, bitch, like, that isn't. Like, a professional person would know how to do that. Like, it's just going higher with the blonde. Like, it's really not that difficult. But anyway, she's doing my hair, and I was really quite, like, she didn't talk to me the whole time, which I don't really care, but I was like, okay, like, this is really great service. She's putting like a full head of highlights on my hair, which was really good because the last person had done like 10 and then expected me to walk out. And by the way, like, the first lady, I know I'm just like going back and forth, but the first lady, like, when I left with that hair colour, Ringer, said that it was a nice caramel. And I was like, caramel? Yeah, caramel. Like, that's caramel, is it to you? Like, go back to fucking preschool and learn your primary colours, because that is not caramel, that is red. So, yeah, so she's putting a whole bunch of highlights on my hair. I'm like, well, at least she's putting a full head of highlights. Like, my hair should be really quite, like, fully coloured by now. She does that, and then she puts like a semi-permanent on my roots because my roots were growing out, and like underneath where my roots were and stuff like that, and does that. I'm like, okay, I was in the hair salon for quite a long time. I think I was there from like 1:30 to 5. I go over to the basin, I wash my hair out, and then she puts a toner in. I'm like, oh, thank God, like, we're getting a toner. Like, I bleach and tone, I bleach and tone. She's put the toner in. I'm like, great, you know, this is exactly what I wanted. And I'm kind of sitting there in the basin while she goes off, and I pulled a piece of my hair over to the side to see, and it's really quite orange. Like, it's not orange now, it's strawberry blonde. It's like strawberry blonde, but still, like, I'm looking to be strawberry shortcake, I want to be blonde. So I'm like, oh, okay. But I was like, well, she hasn't put the toner in, like, it hasn't been sitting on there for that long, so it should be fine. So she puts the toner in and whatever. I sit there for about 20 minutes at the basin. Go back and I sit at the chair. And I did not expect to be, like, fully blonde, like, you have to understand. But I was like, okay, this still looks really red. Like, there's still a lot of red. And I don't understand the deal with these bitches, but I had, like, really bleach blonde hair on one side and then like still brown on the other. Like, it's like they hadn't balanced it out and hadn't like evened it out at all. Like, one side of my hair was more dyed than the other. So I didn't really see it because it was quite dark. It was getting on to like 5 o'clock, and they didn't have like good lights in the hair salon. So I was like, I can't really see it, but I feel like it looks okay. Like, it looks decent. So I paid the money, which was expensive. They gave me a little like Olaplex bottle, and then I walk out and I go sit in my car and I look in the rearview mirror. This was my hair. This was my fucking hair. I had bleach blonde, I had dark roots, bleach blonde, yellow, red bands, and then dark roots. You guys should have seen my roots underneath. I had like almost bleach blonde Barbie hair if I pulled my hair up underneath, and a really thick brown band of root. It was the most, it looked like a dog had vomited and I had rubbed my hair in it and been like, fashion. I didn't want to complain because I'm not that type of person to sit there and complain to people's faces. Or I'm going to do it on my YouTube channel though. But I didn't complain because I was like, I'm just not going to go back there. But in the sense I probably should have taken that picture in that I took and like gone, hello, like, do you really think that this is like a decent hair colour? Like, you've not blended it, it's completely uneven, there's shit everywhere. Like, I don't understand. Like, stuff it, I can't do this anymore. So I kept it for like literally 3 days, and then I ended up dyeing my hair over with a caramel colour because I wanted to go back to brown so badly. I did think about going to like a salon that was really good, like in a city, but I was like, I really just can't be bothered anymore. Like, I've already paid so much money and have had so much time being in hair salons, I just can't be bothered anymore. So I basically dyed my hair to like a caramel colour, which looked so much better. It looked like balayage. It had like dark roots and a caramel colour. Don't know why they couldn't have done that with my hair, like dyed it over caramel, just so, you know, there was no red showing. Like, fucking a monkey could have done it, I did it. I dyed it back to brown. So anyways, that is pretty much the essence of my hair salon horror stories. I cannot believe I went to 2 places that let me leave with hair like that. Like, it is so sick that some people do that. And I know I'm not even being like fussy, because so many of you guys were like, wow Jess, like you need to fix that shit, because they are doing an absolutely terrible job. So, moral of the story, don't always trust thoughts, don't always trust people in professions, and if you're going to go blonde or balayage, go to like a specialist. Go to someone that's like in a city with an Instagram page with before and afters. Don't go to some fucking salon on the street. I will be going blonde, like, hopefully at the end of this year, maybe, I don't know. I mean, I do like the brown, but I do want to go blonde eventually, and I will be going to like a proper hair salon, because I'm not going through this anymore. You have to believe me. But that is basically it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know your little hair salon horror stories if you've ever had any in the comments. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram and all that sort of stuff down below. And I will see you guys in my next vid. Bye. I can't believe, like, how do you go to school for like years to do hair and then come out looking like that? Like, I think the problem was that these people get like a lot of older people coming in for perms and like covering up their greys and all that sort of stuff, but they don't get like serious hair treatments that people want to do, and like really like things that you need to be really experienced in. Like, it was really hard.